Sandy. Bear? What do you have to do here? The 1978 movie Grease is a big deal in pop culture. People think that Grease is one of the best teen movies ever because it has rock and roll and leather coats. But this old movie hides a lot of surprising facts, like the truth about those famous tight leather trousers. A kiss on the neck of a co-star. The problem of the cast's age. A strange link to Elvis Presley, and even a sad story about an actor who played a minor role dying. You might not know these 20 strange facts about Grease. About Olivia's classic tight trousers and a sale price that broke all records. The black leather outfit Olivia Newton-John wore in Grease may look easy, but it has a story behind it that you wouldn't expect. One of the most famous scenes is when Sandy changes into her off-the-shoulder top and tight leather pants and dances with Danny at the school funfair. But not many people know that the outfit almost didn't exist. Olivia told the truth for the first time in her 2019 book, Don't Stop Believing. The tight black trousers she wore were old sharkskin trousers from the 1950s that costume designer Albert Volsky had found. To ensure the utmost accuracy. Too bad there was only one pair of trousers and they were too old. The back zip broke when Olivia tried them on. Albert chose not to change the zip so as not to change the original structure. Instead, Olivia's trousers were sewn on every morning before shooting. She had to stand still and do her job well even though she was under a lot of stress. She almost passed out because her trousers were so tight that she couldn't eat or drink. Olivia kept the outfit for decades before selling it at Julian's Auctions Idols and Icons event in 2019. The whole amount of money raised went to the Olivia Newton-John Cancer Research Institute, which she started to help people with cancer. News stories from The Guardian and People Olivia, along with data from Julian's Auctions, say that Newton-John's famous black leather outfit sold at auction for $405,700, which is more than double the initial estimate. In particular, Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, paid $162,000 for the tight leather trousers. The leather jacket was bought by an unknown person for a lot of money, and the buyer then gave it back to Olivia Newton-John as a prized possession. But the story doesn't end with the tight trousers. Because there was once a great rock and roll star who almost showed up in Grease. Who do you think it was? It was almost like Elvis Presley showed up in Grease. When the show first started, Elvis Presley was asked to play Teen Angel, the figure who sings Beauty School Dropout. But Elvis turned down the offer. He was nearing the end of his career, and his health was getting worse. He no longer wanted to play a small, supporting part. Colonel Parker, Elvis's boss, also didn't want his name to be linked to such a small project. Frankie Avalon, a popular singer and actor from the 1950s, was cast as Teen Angel in the end. After the fact, Frankie said that he was afraid at first that the costume, hairstyle, and trousers gave the impression of being too much like Elvis. Even though Elvis wasn't there himself, his presence was felt strongly in a unique scene. Look at Me, I'm Sandra Dee is the song that Rizzo, played by Stockard Channing, sings at the party. She laughs and shakes her hips while singing the funny lines, Elvis, Elvis, let me be, keep that pelvis away from me. It's a scary coincidence that Elvis Presley died on August 16, 1977. The day that this scene was shot. That's just the tip of the iceberg, though. Olivia Newton-John, who played the lead role in Grease, has other interesting stories to tell. Finally, Olivia Newton-John's age was a big deal for her. You might be shocked by the truth. Olivia? Newton-John almost didn't take the part of Sandy in Grease, but the movie sparked a big change in her career. Olivia turned down the offer at first. Olivia was almost 30 years old when she was asked to play a high school student, and she had a lot of questions about her ability to pull off the role. She asked for a screen test because she wasn't sure if she could convince people of the character's age. Olivia also didn't want to risk her music business, which was at its peak at the time, on a movie project she wasn't sure would do well. It was something she told Marie Claire in an interview with Vanity Fair. Because my music business was going so well, I was very scared to do another movie. It wasn't going to be fun with a bad show. On the other hand, John Travolta kept trying to convince her. He thought Olivia was the only person who could do the job well. He said, there was only one person in the world who could be Sandy, and I was determined to get her in the movie. In the end, it was Travolta's excitement and the good results from the screen test that persuaded Olivia, making the movie a legend. But no one thought Olivia would be the only one who had doubts about her real age. People were shocked when they found out how old some of the other players really were. 4. Everyone in the group was older than a high school junior. A funny thing about Grease. Everyone in the main group was a lot older than the high school students they played. There he was, 23 years old. Michael Tucci was 30 years old when he played Danny Zuko. This made a lot of people dislike the movie. When people said bad things about the movie, casting director Joel Thurm supported it. He said over and over that Grease wasn't a fact but a story in a fairy tale that doesn't follow the rules. Thurm said that the most important thing was that the players looked like they were the same age, which they did. He also said that the success of the movie didn't rest on how old the actors really were, but on how well they could entertain the audience. Thurm said that the reviewers who didn't get it forgot that people go to the movies to have fun. It was the right time because the TV show Happy Days brought back the 1950s. But the music and setting worked so well together that the movie became a surprise hit. That's not all, though. There is an unbelievable love story going on behind the scenes of Grease that will make you laugh out loud. Jeff Conaway's love for Olivia Newton-John that wasn't returned, and what happened next was a surprise. What did you know about Jeff Conaway? He fell in love with Olivia Newton-John, who played Kenickie. According to the Morning Call, Jeff liked her deeply but wasn't brave enough to tell her. But fate took a turn that no one saw coming. Jeff met Rona Newton-John, Olivia's sister, at a party for the group. According to Jeff, I looked across the living room and saw this beautiful woman talking to Olivia. That's when I made the choice to act and take charge before a pack of dogs showed up. Jeff won Rona over right away with his good looks and confidence. Jeff asked her to marry him after a few dates, and she said yes. But they were only married for 5 years. Jeff kept a close friendship with her anyway. With the family of Newton-John. When Jeff died in 2011, Olivia was sad too. Jeff loved people and was very skilled. He was an important part of our family for a long time, and we will always remember him. It gets even more interesting after that. Another small thing that doesn't seem important but hides a really cool story that not many people know about. 6th, Rizzo's hickey wasn't a cover-up. As Rizzo, played by Stockard Channing, looks at the hickeys on her neck in the mirror during the movie Grease, it has become an amazing scene. Not many people know this, but these red marks were not made with makeup. Stockard Channing later said that the scene stood out to her not only because of the character's personality but also because of the marks Jeff made on her skin. This added a small but very real and slightly unsettling element. The most surprising thing, though, is that the movie's most classic car wasn't meant for the main character at first, as you might have thought. 7. Greased Lightning wasn't Danny Zuko's car at first. Kenickie owned the famous Greased Lightning before Danny Zuko won it. When it was first made, this car was just a 1948 Ford Deluxe convertible that was in terrible shape. The headlights were broken, the windscreen was cracked, the tires didn't match, and there were no hubcaps on the wheels. It took Kenickie his whole life to fix up the old car and make it a real street race car. He fixed all the damage, got a new windscreen and headlights and painted the whole car white with red lightning bolts around the edges. This is the car that the T-Birds think of as their dream car in the song. The car was ready for the race at Thunder Road after it had been fixed up. During the race, though, the car was badly damaged when the blades on Leo's wheels came off. Reports say that the car still worked longer than when Kenickie bought it original. The damage wasn't shown very well in the movie, but it was easy to fix later. Later, a made-up version of the car was made. That car was a 1948 Ford Roadster. The paint job was candy apple red, and the hood was made of clear plexiglass. Daniel finally got this car by winning a draw at the school's graduation party. His car became the one he and Sandy used to drive off, finishing the movie. Even the place where those famous songs were sung had secrets that not many people would have guessed. The car was real, too. 8th. The scene in The Summer Night wasn't filmed on a set. It was a real school. The scene in Grease at night in the summer of 1977 was actually shot at Venice High School in California. This may come as a surprise to many. Also, kids from the school were used as extras by theirs. To make Venice High School look like Rydell High School in the movie, the team asked Grant Francis, who was a teacher and went to Venice High School, to help. The real name of the school was hidden by the Rydell High School sign that he and his students put up. When students run out of their cars and across the lawn in the first shot, it was only normal for them to do so. The movie did a great job of capturing the feel of a high school by showing students on skateboards, playing instruments, and dancers in short skirts. Francis also said an interesting fact: to keep rival students from painting the statue of actress Myrna in the school grounds, rose bushes were planted around it. Now that the figure is made of bronze, it will last forever, just like the movie Grease will last forever for many generations. Setting isn't the end of it. There was also a rare event that was hidden behind the scenes that scared the whole team and almost stopped filming. On the Thunder Road set, the director had a very rare injury. On screen, the Thunder Road race scene in Grease looks intense and fiery, but there was an accident that almost went badly for the director. Because it was too hot to walk on. Director Randall Kleiser took off his shoes so that he could walk around barefoot more easily. He was too sure of himself, and he suddenly hurt himself when a sharp object cut him on the foot while he was standing in the dirty Los Angeles riverbed. The next night, there was an illness. Kleiser got a very high fever. His temperature rose to between 38.90 and 101 degrees, and his foot swelled and hurt. He said that over the next few days he was in shock and so tired that the team had to stop filming some scenes so he could get treatment. Almost the whole shooting schedule got thrown off by this event, but what really shocked everyone was another plot twist that no one saw coming. At first, John Travolta wasn't the best choice for the male lead. It might surprise a lot of people to learn that John Travolta wasn't the first choice to play Danny Zuko in Grease. At first, Travolta was only given the small part of Duty in the stage play. He wasn't happy with this part because he had his eye on the part of Danny from the moment he read the script. In an interview in 2019, Travolta said that Henry Winkler, who was famous for playing Fonzie on Happy Days, had been cast as Danny when the movie started filming. Winkler, however, said no. Travolta was ready as soon as he heard that Winkler had dropped the part. It was the right chance for him. Robert Stigwood, the producer, gave him a 3-movie deal and picked him for Saturday Night Fever. Travolta worked hard on getting his dream part for more than a year. Henry Winkler Funny summed up the difference between the two in Newsweek in 2020. "I had orange juice when I got home." It was a yes from John Travolta with the part. He bought a plane when he got home. Tracy had been looking for this part for a long time, so getting it as Danny was like a dream come true. What shocked everyone even more, though, was how Henry Winkler acted afterward, which he was happy to talk about in an interview. Henry Winkler felt bad that he turned down the lead part. You may not know this, but Henry Winkler turned down the part of Danny Zuko in Grease and later felt bad about it. He said no because he didn't want to be cast as a greaser, a part that was too much like Fonzie from Happy Days. In a talk at E3 2020, many years later, Winkler told me straight out, "I was stupid." After missing out on Grease, Winkler's business had a lot of problems. After that, Hollywood forgot about him and didn't give him any major roles for 8 to 9 years. But Winkler didn't give up. Instead, he went back behind the scenes. He changed jobs and is now a producer and director, helping famous TV shows like MacGyver do well. It was during this tough time that Winkler learned something important. Being determined and thankful isn't enough. You also need to be open to change and ready to take a chance. And when he chose to try a new part, he told himself, "Shut up and do it." This saying became his way of life. He sent a message in a moving graduation speech at Georgetown University in 2025. Be strong, creative without being obvious, and brave enough to make your own path. Your own way. And he did a great job of changing from an actor to a writer, author, and director. But the part wasn't the only thing that shocked people. It was almost like the coolest group at Rydell High School had a new name. A funny name. The T-Birds used to have a less cool name. The group of characters in Grease used to be known as the Burger Palace Boys, which isn't as cool. Now they're known as the legendary T-Birds. For an easy reason, they often went to Burger Palace to hang out. Once the movie came out, though, the creators realized that the group needed a cooler, more unique, and more greaser-like name to really connect with people. That's where the name T-Birds came from, along with well-known players like Sonny, Pootsie, Danny Zuko, and Kaniki Duty. In Grease 2, a whole new group of T-Birds were presented to the audience. Johnny Nagarelli, Louis DeMucci, Goose McKenzie, Davy Jorsky, and later, an English major named Michael Carrington, were all in the group. This change made the story more interesting. It showed that the T-Bird spirit had been passed down through many generations. There was one character who ended their life in pain, though, so not everyone got to keep that fame forever. about Jeff Conaway's death and the secrets that lie behind it. Many people are still sad about the death of Jeff Conaway in 2011. He was an actor who played a minor role in the movie Grease. The most painful question is whether his tragedy began with the movie that made him famous. During the song Greased Lightning, Jeff did a lively dance on top of the car in one of the most remembered scenes. But right at that moment of victory, something terrible happened. He hurt his back badly when he fell out of the car. That fall wasn't just an accident, it was the start of a chain of terrible events. Was given opioid drugs to help with the pain. But over time, he became hooked on it and then started abusing other drugs. When Jeff died, the doctors said that the effects of these drugs were what killed him. The story is even more sad, though. Because his addiction dulled his feelings, he didn't know he had pneumonia, which killed him in the end. Medical science pointed to an accident as the cause, but CNN only said it was an accident in general. Jeff's death was a terrible disaster, but behind the scenes of Grease wasn't nearly as exciting as the show itself. Other dark spots were also hidden. The Thunder Road race was shot at a well-known but very dirty place. In Grease, Thunder Road turns into a dramatic battlefield where Kenickie and Leo fight to the death for the car. But fate stepped in out of the blue and Pootsie caused an accident that hurt and knocked out Kenickie right before the race. Danny Zuko took over and won without a doubt. There's more to this scene than just the plot, though. The director picked a real place to make it seem more real. Between the 1st and 4th Street bridges in downtown Los Angeles is the Los Angeles riverbed. This dry land was full of trash, dirt, and poisonous water that was standing still. That's what the beautiful clouds on film were. But in real life, many team members got sick after working for hours in this dirty place. Another actor had to give up the most important thing he owned just to play the part in Grease, so that wasn't the only sacrifice that was made. For the part, Lorenzo Lamas had to cut off his hair. Everyone knows that Lorenzo Lamas had to give up a lot to get a part in Grease. His hair was the first thing he had to give up. But there was a condition he didn't expect. It was told to Lorenzo that he had to make his hair lighter. That's what they were asked to do after seeing him, a big, strong, 6 feet 2 inches guy who didn't fit the description. With the T-Birds, a group of kids who don't follow the rules. They chose to send him to Rodeo Drive so that he wouldn't look too cool. As soon as I sat down in the chair at the spa, they began dyeing my hair. Lorenzo told the story, still a little surprised, yellow. Who would have thought that this simple choice would start a new part of his career? After Grease, blonde hair became an important part of his look. Lamas dyed his hair for many more films after that one, so he would never forget the day he had to cut it short for a part. And if you think the last scene was just a calm shoot, you're wrong. The set behind it gave all the players a real headache. The last scene at the funfair was just playing. It was a real fight, though. Aside from taking a break between scenes to relax, Ward, Barry Pearl, and Michael, 3 of Ward's co-workers, chose to play the difficult spinning game Octopus Ride. Michael felt dizzy as soon as it started, and after only a few seconds, he started screaming that he wanted it to stop because he was sick. Ward thought Michael was kidding, so he tried to keep him on the ride and decided to keep going. While Michael was having a terrible feeling, Ward was still trying to keep playing, not realizing that his teammates were in a lot of pain. Both of them couldn't stand it at the same time. He wasn't sick from the motion, but he couldn't stand how fast it was spinning and started yelling for it to stop. That wasn't all, though. There was a bigger problem that showed up right at the end of the movie. A problem that took a lot of time and work from the whole production team. There were no special effects used on the pink clouds in the last scene. You shouldn't think that the pretty pink clouds in the last scene of Grease are just a camera trick. The people who worked on the show dyed these clouds pink and made them out of real cotton wool. It worked out great in the end. In the last scene, the pink clouds made the background bright and lively, which went well with the characters' dance moves. This was truly an amazing movie-going experience for everyone. This is one of the things that made Grease stand out and become an icon, both when it came out and now, 40 years later. So that's the story behind the clouds. What really shocked everyone was how quickly Sandy changed. Olivia was shocked when she met Bad Sandy. Olivia Newton-John found it easy to change into the sweet, innocent, good Sandy. But when she had to change into the bad, disobedient Sandy, she wasn't used to it at all. Olivia talked about her experience with this very different part in an interview with Fox News. After getting her hair and makeup done, Olivia wore her tight leather outfit to the set. She was shocked by how everyone responded. She said that the group didn't know who I was. Then the guys were really interested in me. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, is this what it takes? She had a funny aha moment when she realized that the way she looked had made her more attractive in a whole new way. Olivia loved stepping away from her old image and showing a different side of herself. It was a lot of fun for her. What changed was not only how Sandy looked, but also lines she made up on the spot that were not in the script at all. A lot of Coach Calhoun's lines were made up by Sid Caesar. People know Sid Caesar for how well he could improvise, but many people don't know that he also made a mark on the movie Grease. In the 1950s, Sid had already made a name for himself on live TV comedy shows before he joined the movie. Even though he had a detailed script, he changed lines and jokes all the time, even during practice and during shows. For the part he played as Coach Calhoun in Grease, but there is no proof of this. All critics agree that Sid Caesar made up a lot of his lines on the spot. Based on his image and the way he works, it's very likely that Sid came up with Coach Calhoun's funny and unique lines on the spot. However, it's not just the unscripted lines that are interesting. The famous music from the movie also had to go through a lot of problems. The most famous song from Grease almost didn't make it into the movie. The song You're the One That I Want wasn't in the first stage production of Grease. It was written just for the movie as a miracle to give John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John an exciting finish. It only took John Farrah a few days to finish the melody, and he probably had no idea that it would become a big worldwide hit. More than 15 million books have been sold around the world, including more than 4 million in the US and UK alone. But not everyone liked the song right away. Randall Kleiser, who directed Grease, was once strongly against putting the song in the movie. He said it was too modern and didn't go with the retro style of the music, which was made in the 1950s by Warren Casey and Jim Jacobs. Kleiser was afraid that the song would throw off the flow of the music that was already there. Luckily, he didn't have to make the final choice. Record World magazine called the song an explosive duet between two stars, even though there were a lot of questions. And, yes, as soon as the line "You better shape up" goes off, everyone knows they are seeing and hearing an iconic moment in music and film. What was the most surprising or impressive behind-the-scenes secret? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next cool find.